People are entitled to their opinions, and about 30% of the time that's great. I'm here to talk about the other 70% in regard to common perspectives, ideas, and outlooks on random aspects of video game culture that give me a hot little bubbly feeling in my stomach when I'm made aware of their presence. I don't like overly critical people at all. You don't need to take a microscope to a video game and ascertain the quality of each individual bacteria. I don't even like the idea of reviewing a game. Critics make a living judging art that is exponentially more valuable than their opinions. Remember when I did like 2 reviews and shoehorned a numerical score in there that meant fucking nothing and then never did that shit again? Because a personal review of a game is meaningless to all other people who will never experience it the same way, and factual reviews of games can't possibly exist separately from all the subjectivity. I thought I could make reviews funny and bring some objective benefit to the viewer, and I sure did, but I didn't like it anyway. It seems like a lot of people's sole purpose as a gamer is to prevent themselves from enjoying the things they play. Like games have to pass a rigorous quality assurance test of theirs just to be considered worth the time. Why are you barricading the path to your own happiness with so many useless obstacles? Do you hate yourself that much that you'll do anything in your power to subconsciously deprive yourself of validation? In your mind, you sit on this mountain above other people who are way more easily entertained, where good times and fun experiences have to crawl their way up sheer treacherous slopes just to reach you. Well, you don't deserve the effort. How hard is it to just like something without giving it a 50-page form to fill out where it better check all the right boxes or it's not worth the time, passion, and money the developers put into it? Loosen yourself, because if you can't, then I just don't think positive emotions are for you. Saying microtransactions are fine because they're optional is like saying anabolic steroids are fine because they're optional. Like, yeah, you don't have to take steroids, but imagine seeing posters for them all over everywhere, super aggressive, overbearing marketing tactics, and all your dumb friends being like, look at how big my muscles are already, this has no foreseeable downsides. The downside is you wasted your money lining the pockets of drug dealers and you're gonna lose your fucking testicles. Now imagine you're entering a bodybuilding competition where steroids are totally legal and allowed. You're gonna get your ass strongly handed to you because everybody else is roided out. That's exactly what's happening with shit like Star Wars Battlefront 2. People have early access to powerful game-changing upgrades thanks to their dopey sheepskin wallets. If you don't think pay to win is bad, you're probably paying to win and nobody likes you. Saying loot boxes are fine because the items in them are just cosmetic is like gambling money at a casino and trying to win your country's currency in a setting where you could possibly win any country's currency. Man, I hope I don't get Danish crowns again. And it is gambling, loot boxes, despite people saying it can't be because you always win something. Winning duplicates is the same shit as winning nothing. And if you want to dispute that, please tell me how much you cherish your 3rd identical Tracer skin in Overwatch. Or is the 4th your favorite? I actually find that the 6th time I get the same thing I already owned, it really sinks in that I own it, you know? Like now it truly belongs to me, and I can see my underwear through this searing hole in my pocket. I wonder if the ESRB decided not to classify loot boxes as gambling because multi-million-dollar publishers want to continue making multi-millions of dollars, but that's just a ridiculous conspiracy theory. When have rich corporations ever influenced anything? When Fortnite was doing its Halloween garbage, it had a Battle Royale costume that cost 1,500 V coins, otherwise known as 15 human dollars. That's $15 more than it costs to play Battle Royale. Loot boxes encourage direct prices of the content you actually want to go way up, so you'll try and win it randomly for less money, but end up spending more to walk away with a bunch of shit you did not set out to acquire. But we all know this already, and talking about it only encourages dumb people to just restate the hypothesis of their beliefs in willful, uncaring defiance of everything I just said, and they're all mosquito bait who don't even notice the pints of blood getting sucked out of their buttholes. I've said this before, but I don't like when relatively difficult games get memeified into being Souls-likes that they are absolutely not. Here's what has to happen for a game to be compared to Dark Souls and become a volcanic eruption that coats the internet in dumb jokes. 1, it has to be a video game in which it's possible to die. 2, draw the number 2 and then scratch it out because there is no more criteria. I went AFK for 20 minutes without pausing, came back and saw that I was dead. It's like Dark Souls, bro. This is hard. In line with this, if you're gonna be a video video game journalist, you need to be competent at games. Nobody would trust an article on a New York Times bestseller from someone who can't fucking read. Learn where the buttons are on your controller and how to press them in the right situations. This isn't an elitist mindset either. It shouldn't even need to be said. And people argue like, well, professional football players aren't the ones writing articles about professional football, but that's not the same because those people are at least competent at watching football. That's what they need to be good at, not playing it, just watching and understanding what's going on. These two industries aren't comparable. Video games are about playing video games. Sports are about watching sports. I wouldn't listen to someone talk about tennis who doesn't know the rules, and I wouldn't listen to a game journalist talk about a tutorial he can't beat. I don't like when games are made to be popular. Individuals are smart. The collective population is incorrigibly retarded. Don't focus test your shit on a group of your average gamers. All they want is multiplayer where it doesn't belong and a menu option that takes you to Pizza Hut's website. Never ever make games to be enjoyed by as many people as possible. That's a bland, silent protagonist in game form, with no discernible features or likability. Ideally, developers are supposed to make games for themselves that they'd like and then just let consumerism be a side effect. We should always be a secondary goal to realizing your vision, and if you do so uncompromisingly, that's when you come out with a powerful fucking game. I don't like when people freak out over female protagonists in big budget games. They think it's some political agenda, and even if it was, who cares? Also, what's your conspiracy? That there are more female leads so guys will subconsciously accept that women can be strong characters and video game heroes too? Well shit, we better put a stop to that for no reason. If you're a dude who's insecure about females getting closer to equality, hardcore feminazis should hate you, and every single woman on earth is better than you. You wouldn't need to rely on your gender being superior if you had anything to offer as an individual. How is hiding behind male dominance not pathetic? Also, let's not forget we're playing video games here, not advancing the socio-political climate. Horizon Zero Dawn is good, Tomb Raider's good, Hellblade is good, the Ellie sections of The Last of Us are good. Get over your posturing pussy self. Conversely, I don't like when people freak out over a female character being sexualized. It's like all these people want to see is dumpy plain girls wearing thick turtleneck sweaters and ski pants. Girls in games can be hot without setting the female gender back 10 years. It sets unrealistic expectations for women. No, that's the beauty culture of real life doing that shit. Women in video games are just pixels arranged in a visually appealing way. I'm not saying Life is Strange should have starred a young Victoria's Secret model. Characters' appearance should reflect their story they're telling, and if you're a bullied high school girl, you should look it, and that's what I'm saying, because if there's a chick in a game where being hot is part of her character, that shouldn't offend anyone. Attractive women exist in real life, they're bound to show up in video games too. If you're a girl who feels inadequate in comparison, it just means the developers were better at programming those girls than God was at programming you, and if you're a dude complaining about sexy women in video games, just because you're gay doesn't mean you have to take the fun out of it for everyone. And if you're not gay, you should be gay, because otherwise I don't get it. I don't like the idea that a game has to be a certain length to be worth a set price point. Games are about quality. Everybody freaked out over how short The Order 1886 was, but that was a solidly good game that I'm not sorry I bought. If we priced games based on their amount of content, maybe The Order 1886 would have been $30, and then by the same principle, Skyrim would have set you back about $200. If you believe in the price structuring one way, you have to believe in it for the other too. We'll see how much of a hard-on you get for a breadth of content when AAA start charging $100 for the full game. Wait, that's right, most of them already do. I don't like when people employ an always very self-awarely dickish strategy or method in a game and then go, it's not cheap if it's in the game. The game lets you play like this, why wouldn't I? Like if you're camping in a multiplayer shooter. First of all, you know you're being an asshole. Don't even try and pretend like, what, this shouldn't make anybody mad. Yes, it should, and it does, and that's why you're doing it. Anytime there's a dumb shortcut to short-term results instead of actual practice to actually get good, you jump on that shortcut like it's a hidden route behind a waterfall in a racing game. Which, by the way, obviously shortcuts in racing games are meant to be taken. Nobody's staying on the main path in last place like, I'm the only one playing the game right! But when you choose a methodology that requires no skill and spits in the face of accomplished practice, you're a small, flaccid penis weighed down by gravity and you cannot justify that. Why shouldn't I? It's in the game. For the same reason you shouldn't be an asshole in real life, because people won't like you. Real life has guns. Why shouldn't I just open fire in a crowded parking lot? It lets you do that still for some reason. It's in the game of life. Why shouldn't I? I don't need to answer that for you. In life, you have the option to be a mass murderer. Everyone does. It's true. Do you ever need to ask yourself why you shouldn't do that? Most people are decent enough for it to not come up. I don't like when people give you shit for using a certain weapon or build in a game that they think is OP, especially in single-player games where it doesn't affect anyone else, like, oh, you use the Drake sword for half an hour, you noob-ass bitch? If a weapon's good, I'm gonna use it, preferably on you, you whiner. Now, the exception to this rule is if the person using the community-established optimal weapon or build is bragging about how easy the game is or how good they are as a result. Then you get to lay into those pretentious hoes for avoiding a game's inherent challenge. That's like riding past a pack of marathon runners on your motorcycle like, I don't know what everyone's bitching about, 26 miles isn't that far. Someone should shove a giant rod up your tailpipe, and then do something to the bike as well. I don't like that DLC and early access games can be eligible for Game of the Year awards. That's fucking ridiculous. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is up for Game of the Year in 2017, and it's not even technically out. Sure, it's supposed to be finished by December, but the full version isn't what was nominated. It's on the ballot now as an early access game. And what if it gets delayed and releases in 2018? You gonna nominate it for that shit again at the end of that year? They don't even need to finish the game. Nobody would care, apparently, if they just left it as is for the rest of time, if it's already polished enough to serve a seat at the nominee table next to Super Mario Odyssey and Persona 5. It's good to see, though, that games don't even need to be done before the developers try and make you pay even more for it with microtransactions in an incomplete package to start with. That's like opening a clothing store in a building that's still being fucking built. Yeah, we don't have doors or walls yet, but come on in. Oh, fitting rooms? Please, we don't even have rooms. And as far as DLC goes, that's not even a game. At least early access is a game. DLC is an add-on. Giving Game of the Year to DLC is like calling some guy's third nipple the sexiest man alive. It's a piece. It's extra. It is not the entire thing. Hey, I heard Denzel Washington's leg got nominated for an Oscar. Good for him. I mean, it. Well, that's going to do it for this video. That's all the stuff I can think of, though I'm sure there's infinitely more things I'm forgetting. Feel free to post in the comments your own gripes about stuff like this. It might inspire me to remember something or feel something, and then if I remember/feel enough things, you might see another one of these. Anyway, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.